Om Tat Sat Chidanandakalam Vanim Vande Chandrakalaadharam Nairmalyataratam Yena Bimbitam Chitta Bhittishu Pranomi Punadonkara Manighanta Vibhushitam Kaviloka Kutumbasya Suktidhenum Saraswati. Good evening. It's a very heartening occasion as the Rishihood University has been organizing an online course on Avadhanam, one of my beloved art forms, and then have been invited, and I'll be speaking on a very endearing topic of mine, that is about the poetry of Avadhanam. We all know kavi karma kavyam. Poetry itself is product of a poet. And kavru varne is the etymology, is the root. Kavru means the root by which the word poet, kavi, is generated. And so varne means varnana. And that's why it is said by Bhattatota, an eminent visionary in Indian aesthetics, and who was mentor of Abhinavagupta, he says, varnana nipunah kavihi, nanrishik kaviryuktaha, arshishcha kila darshanat, vichitra bhava dharmamsha tattva prakhyacha darshana, सतत्व दर्शनम सतत्व दर्शनादेव शास्त्रेषु पठितः कविः नोदिता कविता लोके यावज्जाता न वर्णना. So unless a poet comes out with his product to the world, he will not be recognized by the world as kavi. Though Valmiki, by virtue of his realization, by virtue of his self-enlightenment, was termed as kavi in the Vedic sense. Kavir Manishi Pradibhu. This is what the Ishavasya Upanishad says, and Kavayo Pyetra Mohitaha, that's what in the Bhagavad Gita. So Kavim Purana Manushasitaram, like that again Bhagavad Gita. So the word Kavi is meant for a seer, a visionary, but it is in the Shastric sense, in the philosophical sense of the highest order. But to the world, where we have Nama and Rupa, in the frame of Triputi, Drik, Drishya and Darshana, one has to present his Kavya, her Kavya, in a written form or an oral form, and then when the rasikas, when the connoisseurs get to know about that and they start enjoying, then rasa is evoked in the hearts of the Sagadaya, because we know rasa is neither in the work nor in the poet, it is only in the Sagadaya. When the poet gets the idea of a new poem, then he will be enjoying, and that ananda is rasa ananda. When he starts working on that theme, then he may get joy, but that joy is strictly not termed as rasananda. It is kavana rachanananda, kavita rachanananda, like that. Every act in the sattvic form will generate its own level of ananda. But only when the sahridayas got to know about that, when once they start relishing their own sthai bhava in an indispassionate manner, then it will become rasa. After all, what is rasa? It is the enjoyment of our own emotions, our own bhava, without getting perturbed by that. Ramyam jugupsitam udaram athapi nicham ugram prasadi gahanam vikritancha vastu yadvapya vastu kavi bhavaka bhavyamanam tannasti annartha bhavam upaiti loke. This is what Dhananjaya says at the end of his famed work, Dasharupaka, where all the bhavas, whether they are endearing or not, whether they are lovable or not, when they once get to the magic touch of an artist, and once they become the trigger for evoking rasa in the hearts of Sahridaya, everything will become enjoyable. Ultimately, it is the vibhava, anubhava, vibhichari bhava samagri that is being consolidated with the poet. The aesthetic cause and effect, that is called vibhava and anubhava, when that is being done, as we call that as objective correlative in terms of T.S. Eliot, when once the poet does justice to this, it will be sufficient to evoke rasa. In that sense, a Sahridaya has to be provided with sufficient material so that his personal emotions will get detached from the kama karma dimensions, and once it will become a free bird to fly in the mighty sky of ananda. That is how all the rasas, irrespective of their root in the various bhavas, they become enjoyable. That's why it is said rasayeva ananda. Raso Vaisaha. That's how the Veda also proclaims. Now coming to it, Avadhanams are of many types, but the most celebrated one, the king among the various types of Avadhanam, is Sahitya Avadhanam, because we have the two dimensions which have been completely met with in a very, very glowing manner. One is Purana and the other is Dharana. And the third dimension is also there, that is Sabharanjana. While Purana is being done, that is meeting the challenges, answering the challenges then and there, that is Purana. And then having track of everything without getting confused, that is Dharana. In this process of Purana and Dharana, the people who have come to watch that, the Rasikas, the Sahridayas, the connoisseurs, they should get enjoyment. If it is done only for the sake of improving his biodata, just as a sense of achievement where no one is interested, it will not evoke rasa. And that's why Sabharanjana is very, very important. As we know, Avadhanam is a performing art par excellence. Excellent. In many performing arts like music, dance, whether it is instrumental music or vocal music or even theatre, so many art forms are available everywhere. We should take care of our conscious. We should take care of our rasikas. If not, that will not be termed as art. It may be a feat. It may be an individualistic achievement. So Avadhanam is essentially an art. And Kala, the word itself has three layers of meaning. One is Sankhyaane, Gato. The third one is Kshepe. Sankhyaane means it has an intellectual dimension. And Gato, it has an artistic dimension, which is dynamic in nature. And Kshepe, a level of ecstasy. The dimension of ecstasy is present, and that evokes rasa. So all these three aspects are found in Avadhanakala, and that's why it is, as in the words of my mentor, the late Lanka Krishnamurti, Avadhanam, Samadhanam, Kalanam, Atmanah Kala. He also says Avadhanam, Pranidhanam, Kalanam, Atmanah Kala. Now, coming to various types of Avadhanam, Sahitya Avadhanam is the best and most illustrious, as we know. And we have Sangeeta Avadhanam, Nritya Avadhanam, Geeta Avadhanam, so many types of Avadhanam, so that is Netra Avadhanam, Ghanta Avadhanam, Varakatana Avadhanam, or Ganita Avadhanam, like that. Many Avadhanams have been developed in the recent years, even from time immemorial. Now, coming to Sahitya Avadhanam, we have Ashtavadhanam, Shatavadhanam, like that, various numbers. All that is encompassed in one thing, that is Vyavadhanam. Vyavadhanam means two-folded Avadhanam. Ashtavadhanam is eight-folded, Dashavadhanam is ten-folded, Shatavadhanam is hundred-folded, Sahasravadhanam is thousand-folded. Everywhere we have the two-dimensional performance. One is answering the questions which have been posed then and there in a creative manner, in an imaginative manner, in a pleasing and convincing manner. While doing so, keeping track with the other things which are also going on. This Vyavadhanam is the essence of any Avadhanam. Means when a person is talking to others, he or she may be knitting a sweater or maybe cutting vegetables. This will all be going on. Cutting vegetables or knitting a sweater is a routine thing. While conversing or listening to music or watching a movie on this TV, it's all a very, very interesting and engaging thing. These two levels of operation, which then and there simultaneously go on, it is switching off and switching on, it will be carried out constantly. This level has to be maintained with a seamless match, and that is Vyavadhanam, and that is the seed of all forms of Avadhanam. And here, Sabharanjana, which is being done with the skills of Avadhani to come out with spontaneous wit then and there, and to answer the questions of the scholars, and even to converse with the other scholars who are present on the dais, at the same time engaging himself seriously without getting burnt up, of course, with the various activities like Nishedakshara, Samasya Purana, Dattapada, Chitra Kavita, and many other things. And in this series, I think several of such components have been analyzed and presented by various scholars. And that's why I have been left with this topic which I chose, that is poetry of Avadhanam. Everything which is composed in the form of verse or prose, if it has spark of beauty, it should become poetry. Because in our Sanatanic tradition, in the Bharatiya tradition, Gadyam, Padyam, Geetam, Mishram, everything can become poetry. Unlike in the older Western tradition, only verse is poem. Here it is not so. Banabhatta, a great prose poet, is a master kavi. Likewise, the Mishra, Champu Kavya, Gadya and Padya, both are mixed prose and verse. Like Bhoja's Champu Ramayana, or Ananta Bhatta's Champu Bharata, or Nilakanta Dikshita's Nilakanta Vijay Champu, or Venkatadhari's Vishwagana Virsha, like that, they have not less than 300 Champus. Recently, I myself wrote a Champu Kavya on the various seasons of Bangalore in the form of an interaction between a newly wedded couple, Rutu Kalyanam. It's a long poem of 400 verses and some short prose passages. All this is Champu. And also Geetam. Geetam is a song. Song need not be set to a meter in the strict sense like Sharadula Vikreditam or Matte Vikreditam or Sradhara or Upajati or Vasant Delka or whatsoever. It is in the rhythmic pattern where we have the Tala. And Shruti will also be followed so that the music is set. Jayadeva's Gita Govinda is a classic example of having songs and verses. For example, Nindati Chandana Bindu Kiranamanu Vindati Khedamadhiram Vyala Nilaya Milanena Garalami Vakalayati Malaya Samiram is Geetam. Unnilan Madhuganda Lubdhamatupovi Adhuta Chutam Kurak Kidat Kokila Kakali Kalaravai Rugirna Karnajvaraha Niyantam Patikai Katam Katamapi Dhyana Avadhanakshama Prapta Prana Gama Praso Lasairami Vasaraha. This is verse of Jayadeva Gita Govinda itself. Like that, where Gita and Padya are mixed. In Champu, Gadya and Padya are mixed. In certain place where we have the Dhruva Gita, for example, in Natashastra, in the Dhruva there are so many songs. All these songs are incorporated in various places. Then it will become Gadya, Padya, and Gita. All these three are present. Everything is not mixture, beautiful admixture. This is how all this is called as poetry in the larger sense, but it should have imagination. Kavyam Grathana Kaushala. And that's why Kalpana Shila Kavi. Imagination is very important. And in that sense, though we have Nishedakshara, Samasya Purna, Dattapada, Chitra Kavita, or Uddishtakshara, and other components of Avadhanam, where versification is invariably present, it is not termed as Shuddha Kavya, pure poetry, because they are constrained by several things. In Nishedakshara, we have every letter being checked, obstructed. In Samasya, the riddle has to be solved. In Dattapadi, given words have to be stitched in, like that it goes on. But in Varnana, one component, or in Ashu Kavita, which is a speedy versification or the spur of a movement, all these things have no constraints apart from versification on this part. And hence, they have a greater potential to become better poems. Better poetry can be expected there. So here we have greater scope for pure poetry. As we know, a Subhashita goes, Avasara Patita Vani Gunagana Rahita Pishobhate Pumsam Pratisamaye Mithunanam Bhushanaha Nistu Bhushanam Bhavati. When the verses are composed at the right instance, as per the need, whether they have innate beauty or not, they become appealing. Avasara Patita Vani, fitting to the occasion, befitting the occasion. So it will go. But that is not sufficient, because grammatically faultless language and then metrically correct structure, chaste and idiomatic diction, they're desirable qualities. They're bare minimum qualities in a classical verse. Here we are speaking entirely about classical versification and not about non-classical things. Because in non-classical things, where rules themselves are questioned, what to see and what not to see, it becomes very difficult. It is something like playing football without any rule. Whether he may use the trick of basketball or volleyball or water polo or whatsoever, everything will go on. It is chaos or anarchy. But here in classical arts, we have very strict adherence to rules. Like in classical music, Shruti, Laya are very important. Bhava is of paramount importance. You may you have to stay within the frame of a raga. If you bring in some other swara, if you have announced that it has to be Bhupa or Mohanam of South Indian music, you should not bring in Madhyama swara. Then it will be wrong. At the same time, you should not even bring in Nishada swara. It is a faulty note there. If you use it, it should be declared as Mishra earlier itself. Like that, we have such rules, very strict and stringent rules. And following that, it will be done. And that's why bare minimum things will not become pure poetry. They are the requisites of the first round elimination. Then comes the other things. Ritiratma kavyasya vishishta padarachana riti. Like that Vamana says, vishishta padarachana, beautiful arrangement of words in a sonorific manner that should be present, and also some other imagery should be there. Arthalankara rahita vidhaveva saraswati, so says the Purana. Without Arthalankara, the literature will be widowed, and that's why we should have Alankara. And all these things should follow Auchitya, propriety. Then only we'll be having Dhvani and Rasa. So all these structural things and the substantial features should be taken care of. I shall draw the lines from Anandavardhana. Dashtapurva pishyarthaha kavya saparigraha sarve nava iva bhanti madhumasa ibadhumaha. Anandavardhana in the Punyaloka says, even when the things are repeated, just because the spring is again and again coming and going, every year we experience spring, it will not go stale. Likewise, in poetry also, certain things, if they get repeated, that will not be a blemish. It means the topics may get repeated. The same Krishna, the same Virahavarnana, the same Himalaya, the same parrot, and the same urban life, the same rural life. All these things may come as topics. But poet has to give a new dimension to it by his power of imagination. And then here I shall illustrate few verses. One topic, Devata Stuti, Narasimha Stuti. Narasimha is one among the avatars of Mahavishnu, the fourth avatar, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, and then comes Narasimha. Here, one great Avadhani from Andhra Pradesh of early 20th century by name Veluri Shivarama Shastri, Satavadhani Veluri Shivarama Shastri, a polyglot and polymath, he has composed one verse. That verse goes like this. Praudhakadyuti koti patala satarincolika bhasuru nirghatadyuti nirghatadyuti bhinnaka prakatita parolla sadvikrama Daityavrata vibhor hiranya kashipor vakshastali bhanjako Lakshmi jani rudaradhi ravatuna Srinara Simha Prabhu. Though this verse is bereft of any particular alankara, any sputa alankara, no such attractive imagery is brought out just by the Vojo Guna, just by the brilliance of the word order, arrangement, and even the suitable meter, Shartuval and Kridita. The meaning of the meter is sport of a tiger. Here, Narasimha, half lion, half human being, the incarnation of Mahavishnu is being described. Closer to it is this meter, very majestic and dignified meter it is. And so, the composition is full of Vojoguna and is in Gaudi Riti. May the deity Narasimha, Lakshmi's concert, protect us. His mane is as resplendent as the rays of the scorching sun. His claws exhibit his unbound valor. They gave a thunder-like blow to and extricated the intestines of the demon king Hiranyakashipu. This is the import of it. But if the same thing is described in another way, without having such a verbal melody and without even having Shabda Shuddhi, how stale it would become. From a contemporary Avadhani of Andhra Pradesh. Grama Grama Nivasaya Narasimhaya Srimate Navanita Sudha Murti Nandanaya Namostute. I bow before the deity Narasimha, Lakshmi's consort who resides in every village. He bestows nectarine happiness on everyone. Grama Grama Nivasaya is a undesirable construction. Here we have some flaw. Can be, may perhaps it may be justified also, but such strange justifications will have no much water. Now coming to the true poetry, how it should be, I will be giving some examples from several Avadhanis and also from my own Avadhanam, and give a schematic picture of various types of topics which will be dealt with. Because Lakshana Siddhi will always happen with the exposure to Lakshya. Lakshya means examples. Lakshana is the definition. Definition will get will become clear only when we look into multivarious examples, Lakshana, Lakshya. And that's why Lakshya Pradhanam Sahityam. All that we know since time immemorial is Prayoga Pradhanam Hinam Natyashaptram, as Kalidasa says in Malavikagnimitra. Here Prayoga is Lakshya. That's why I have selected few verses and I will be presenting them. They are in various headings. Any topic under the sun, any topic, every belonging to any nook and corner of this universe can be asked. Whether the topic may be a real one or an imaginary one, anything can be asked. For example, horn of a rabbit, Shahashranga. It is called Vikalpa Jnana in our logical brain, in our Tarkashastra and all. To illustrate Vikalpa Jnana, this knowledge which is false. The knowledge is not real one, it is false one. To that, we give examples like Shashishunga. Even on that topic, that topic, a beautiful verse can be composed. Like that, there's no dearth for topics, but the poet or the Avadhani should come up with beautiful verses. And in that way, various headings can be made. And here I have made some 10 headings. Depending upon the available time, I can take some examples. Stutis means eulogizing verses. Kavistuti, eulogizing verses on deities, also on poets, Kavistuti, panegyric verses. And then mythological situations from Ramayana, Mahabharata, various Puranas, epics. And then nature, whether it is on seasons, or trees, or flowers, or cities, villages, so many such things. And then humor, most attractive one. And then love, such different rasas, various rasas, Shringara, Veera, Karuna, Adbhuta, Hasya, Bhayanaka, like that. And then the theme of poetry and Avadhanam itself. And verses on various arts and sciences, Shastra Gandhini Padhyani, various poems based on Vyakarana, Tarka, Vedanta, Mimamsa, and even modern sciences like engineering, so many things. Here, the Vyutpatti or the erudition of the Avadhani will be put to test. And then verses on various peculiar structures. Sometimes the Avadhani, if he is an accomplished one, he can exhibit his talent, erudition on that. Whether he will be using Vishesha Prayoga, grammatically, special usages, such things. And then allegorical verses, a very, very beautiful section, like the Anyoktis, all based on Apastha Prashamsa Alankara. We have thousands of Anyoktis in Sanskrit literature, such verses. And then in any category, we'll be having the final section as miscellaneous. We'll be having miscellaneous verses. Like that, they have several such topics. Taking from the vast floor of Avadhana Padyams, I have selected few verses and then I have explained. And then one, Saraswati speech from my own Avadhanam. Here, two verses I have composed on different occasions. One is full of Shabdalankara. This is in Ashwadhati meter. In this Ashwadhati meter, every line will be having 3 rhymes, totally 12 rhymes, 3 rhymes per foot, totally 4 feet, and it will comprise 12 rhythm, 12 rhyming phrases have to be adopted there, incorporated. Managing 12 rhythmic words, managing this meter and also managing the theme sometimes may become difficult. लीलायित त्रिभुवनालापरूप विभवालासितात्मवदने कालायितं रसिकशूलायितं सकलहालायितं जगदिदं श्रीलावितुं पवनमाला मरुत्सवनशालामिमां रमयितुं मेलापकं किमपि कालापकं लसदनीलालकूलयतु मे. May Saraswati, the glory of cosmic speech, reside in me and create a conducive ambience for this poetic ensemble. By this, the world, which is averse to poetic taste and is hence an impediment to connoisseurs, will be satiated. Also, art, the sacrificial space of the deities, will be well protected. Here, the meaning is not that imaginative, is not alluded with many striking imagery. Managing the Shabdalankara itself is a major task here. Then compared to this, the next one was better. It is in Shatula meter. Tambula Dyutibha Tambula Drava Bhavitena Kavita Yasya Rase Shikshita Manjiratvaya Manjugosha Gamate Yasya Swara Lakshita Asaprasa Patena Shilpa Natana Yasya Parishkarita Keli Kira Kishora Shilitamidam Tasya Avadhanam Vritam. The art form of Avadhana derives its life force from Saraswati's pet parrot. The deity tutors poetry in rasa by her beetle juice, teaches her melody to musical notes through her jingling anklets, polishes the beauty of dance and sculpture through her smile. Here, the poet has skillfully alluded to three fundamental arts: poetry, music, and dance. In the first three lines of the verse itself, poetry, music, and dance are incorporated. The fourth line, of course, alludes to Avadhanam. This way, bringing in different art forms and also the imagery, Tambula Draba Bhavitena. It's a beautiful poetic convention also. From Shankara Bhagavad Saundarlari, we know Kada Kale Mata Kate Kalita Laktakrasam Pibeyam Vidyarthi Tavacharana Nirne Janajalam Prakrutya Mokana Mapisha Kavita Karanataya Kadavani Bhakte Mukha Kamala Nambu Rasatam. It is said that Kalidasa, Shankar Bhagavad and many more gifted poets, they became so because of the taste of the beetle juice that the Devi got them. And so that is being referred to. And Saraswati's anklets and the jingling melody of them, they create a lot of music. And even her smile, it evokes so much of beautiful dance. And her pet parrot, that itself generates a lot of avadhanis. This is how the verse is being constructed. Then one stuti on Purva Kavis. For example, Kalidasa, Bhasa, Bhobhuti, such Sanskrit poets and even Indian poets, it may be easier. But how to eulogize a Western poet in classical Sanskrit? That needs understanding of English literature and so many other things. This is how the Vyutpatti, erudition of the Avadhani is put to test. Astanjagama Ravirangla Janarjiteshu Desheshu Tat Balaparakramavat Pramena Astam Prayati Nakadachana Shakespeare Te Kirtindukam Kirabala Bhuvanatrayepi. It is well known that the sun never sets in British Empire. It used to be said when Britishers had made colonies all around the globe, and even Canada, Australia, many African countries, India, Burma, like that, so many have become colonies. That's why it is said sun never sets in British Empire. The sun eventually did set on the British Empire, following its fortunes downward. Once after 1949, 45, 47, 49, all the colonies were declared freedom, and eventually it became UK, very restricted and a small country. Now it's very pathetic also. Because of that, Astan Jagama, Ravirangla, Arjiteshu, Desheshu, Tad Bala Parakrama Vatkramen. Like the depleting energy, even their empire got shrunk. But now, doubtless, this must have. But oh Shakespeare, the moon of your fame shall always be resplendent. Shakespeare's kirti, the fame of Shakespeare like moonlight, is present everywhere. Whether they have political victory or not, political control over the other countries or not, it's immaterial. But Shakespeare is even today arresting the attention of a true Rasika. This is how a verse in Vasanta Dalaka is being composed by me. And then from nature. Nature has a very vast scope, and here the cuckoo's call in spring. So many poets have described this in many ways, but here is a different approach from mine. Madhumase Pratamarutim Kalayantum Stokila Kalalapaha Praveshikadhruvamiha Tanute Praveshikadhruvamiha Tanute Tanvishvatanuratyoho. The cuckoo's sweet voice during spring serves as the entry song for Rati and Manmata to dance in the hearts of women. Not only women, even in the hearts of men, even in the hearts of everyone. And here, the cuckoo's call, the cuckoo's sweet voice is equated to Praveshiki Dhruva. And here you can notice the Vyutpatti, erudition, and knowledge of the Avadhani in Natya Shastra. In Natya Shastra, they have a separate chapter called Dhruvadhyaya, where permanent fixtures, they are the musical fixtures. These are the lyrics which are given by Bharata, and even many other people have also composed as the time went on. And these Dhruva songs are five kinds: Praveshiki Dhruva, Naishkramiki Dhruva, Antara Dhruva, Akshiptiki Dhruva, and Prasadiki Dhruva. While the entry of a character, yes, the song will be sung even while the exit of the same character, and also during the activity of the character. In a soft manner, it is Prasadiki. In a fierce manner, it is Akshiptiki. So ultimately, the five types of Dhruvas are always present. And that's how we can allude to modern Indian film, where songs are invariable components of our films. They have to be present since the time of Bharata. That has become a tradition as well, a time-tested tradition. And here the Avadhani is using that Praveshiki Dhruva. Like the Praveshiki Dhruva, the cuckoo's sweet voice sings. And to that song, Rati and Manmata, the pair gods of love and enjoyment. Rati is symbol of enjoyment, while Manmata is the symbol of desire. Both are married, and they dance in the hearts of the Rasikas, hearts of the loving couple. This is a different dimension itself is given to the age-old description of Kokila Rava. And then yet another verse from my own Avadhan, a people tree, Ashwatha Vriksha, as we call it. Ficus religiosa, that is the botanical name. Navapallava rupato vakan hridayanye yoginam madho madanadvara yupavat puraha pratibhati viradashana drumaha. The earlier verse which I recited was in Arya, and this is in Yogini. The meter is so apt, and even the name Yogini has come in Yoginam Madhu, like that. So it is Mudra Lankara. The name of the meter is also suggested in the text itself. Navapallava rupato vahan hridayanyeva viyoginam madhu madanadvara yupavat purah pratibhati dviradashana druma. Dviradashana druma means it is a synonym of Ashwatha tree. Ashwatha has so many synonyms in Amar Kosha, Vajayanti Kosha, Medini Kosha, Trikanta Shesha, have so many synonyms. They are all the lexicons. Here one is Dviradashana druma, a tree which is loved by elephants. Elephants relish this tree and its branches very much. The leaves, they graze this. The people tree resembles a sacrificial post, that is Yupastambha, erected for the yajna of romance. It carries the hearts of lovers in separation in the form of its tender leaves. In this verse, you just see, you have the observational skill of Avadhani. Avadhani has observed so many things, and he has studied several things. The study, erudition, is alluded to the Shrauta Shastra. Shrauta Shastra means it is the science of sacrifices, yajna. In a yajna, we will be having Yupastambha. And to Yupastambha, the animals which are going to be sacrificed are tied. And he is alluding Ashwatha to be, or the people tree to be, a Yupastambha. And the tender leaves which are seen on the tree, that is people tree, in spring season, in the early spring, the whole tree will be decked with beautiful leaves. Very sweet sight to see, to behold. And it will all be reddish in color, tender leaves. And we know the people tree's leaves are heart-shaped. And that's why this observation, the loka vekshana as we call, observing the world around is very important to a kavi. And here, the tree is full of such tender leaves which are red in color and they are heart-shaped. And one more name of Ashwatha tree is Chaladala. Every leaf will be trembling and it will look like the whole hearts are trembling. The heart-shaped leaves, they are all hanged on the Upastamba, supposed to be the people tree. Why? Madana Dvara, a sacrifice to appease the god of love is being arranged. And there, the hearts of the yogis means the heart of the people who are separated. They are desperate, they are hurt, they are pained, and all that painful hearts are hanging in the Upastambha. That is the people tree. A very new imagery itself is brought out. And this is a combination of Pratibha, Vyutpatti, and Lokavekshana. Then one more verse. It is in Mandakranta meter, summer. Kalidasa also describes summer. In the Rutsamhara itself, the very first canto, we have detailed description of summer. And in the Shakuntala's Prastavana, we have summer description. And even in Raghuvamsha's 16th canto, we have summer description. And so many other poets have described. But here it is in a different form, in an entirely new way, this is being described. The heat of summer, the bad effects of summer are equated to the pathetic plight of Draupadi. Karshatyugraha karatara kareir grishma dushasanoyam bhupanchalya haritavasanam salabaha abhiguptam tamjivartam sapadi sarasa krishna megastu patva dharmaglani or dharmaglani charana charano yatyananyavatarah. This full of Sayava Rupakalankara. Savayava Rupakalankara means it's an organic metaphor. The whole metaphor represents the Mahabharata's Draupadi Vastraparana situation. Summer, in the form of cruel Dushasana, pulls at the green saree of earth that symbolizes Draupadi, which is protected by trees that are her arms. The rain-bearing cloud, that is Krishna, descends as rains and saves her, thus doing away with the heat of unrighteousness. Dharmaglani is Dharmaglani, means the summer is pacified by the early rains. That is how a Savayava Rupaka is formed. Then we have one more example from another sect, that is humor. Humor is a very attractive rasa. Everyone religious humor. Modern dance. How would modern dance look? Classical dance, of course, we all know. Modern dance, how would look? For that, I have made a parody of Kalidasa's verse from Malavika Agnimitru. Kalidasa's original verse goes like this: Devanamida Mamananti Munaya Kantan Katim Chakshusham Rudreneda Mumakkatam Yatikare Swange Vibhaktam Dvidha Trigunyodbhavamatra Lokajaritam Nanaraham Drishyate Natim Bhinna Ruche Janasya Bodapyekam Samaradhanam. Here my verse is set to same Shardul credit, but in a different way. Daityanamida Mamananti Yuvaka Kanta Savam Chakshusham Paschatya Marya Desha Kulisha Prayam Pratam Kilbishaihi Nirgunyodbhavamatra Lokacharitam Nana Vidhetushitam Diskoskanda Ruche Janasya Bodapyekam Vipakaspadam. Nowadays, so many other forms of dances have come, hip hop or break dance and so many things. But this verse was composed before 40 years in one of my Avadhanams, early Avadhanams, where break dance was very, very popular all around India, in all the Indian tinsel world. The silver screen used to exhibit this disco dance. And that's why I have made a jovial mockery of that. This is not a serious verse, of course. None should get offended just because the disco dance is being ridiculed here. As the questioner says, you give a verse on modern dance in the form of a parody, something like that. I have to do it. Avadhani has no choice of his own. He is helpless to that extent. Whatever topic is given, to that he has to do justice. Like an actor has to do justice to the hero character, villain character, comedy character, whatsoever. Has to do it. Likewise, the youth hail disco as the inebriating enjoyment for demonic eyes, a thunderous jolt to the oriental world, It was invented by the wily West. It is a product of zero virtue. It misrepresents the world. It is thoroughly bad. It is a thoroughly bad influence on people with lowly tastes. This is a dry import this. But it just the Devanamida Mamananti Munaya, Daityanamida Mamananti Yuvakaha, Kantam Kratum Chakshusham, Kanta Savam Chakshusham. Same words are used, but in a different way, and some other words are brought in so that the context has been entirely changed. Rudreneda Mumakrata Vyatikare Swange Vibhaktam Dida Paschatyrida Madhyadesha Kulsha Prajam Kratam Kilpishaihi Regunyodbhava Matra Lokacharitam Nairgunyodbhava Matra Lokacharitam Nanaratam Drishyate Nanavidhe Pushitam. Like that, the parody goes. A successful parody is one which will very closely follow the original and yet differs in a very tricky way so that the whole verse will become very attractive and effective. Then one poem on love. Love is a very vast topic. A short poem having 6 letters in every foot. Very, very short meter. Anushtup itself has 8 letters per meter, per line, totally 32. But here it is not so. 24 letters, that's all. Tanumadhya. Tanumadhya means slender waisted, slender middle. That's what the meaning is. Tanumadhya literally means a damsel having a slender waist. And woman has to be described. Sudhya tanumadhya, sadhyo iva medhya, drishtikshati dashta, nashta kati kati rishta. I shall repeat. Sudhya tanumadhya, sadhyo iva medhya, drishtikshati dashta, nashta kati rishta. A very rare meter. Here, 2 gurus, 2 laghus, and again 2 gurus. Like that it goes on. And this verse is full of alliterations. A woman with a slender waist is beautiful to behold. She instantly appeals to the youth. Her lovely waist is perhaps thin on account of being bitten by smitten eyes. Just see the chamatkara, that is the Atishayokti, Drishti Kshati Dashta, Nashta Kati Rishta. And also verses on poetry. One verse is about the words of Mahakavis, words of great poets, how it will be. Bhanitam Mahakavinam Manye Pushpaka Vimanamiti Jagati Yatranantava Kashati Nanathvani Prapanchartham. The words of great poets are akin to the mythical Pushpaka Vimana. They have infinite space to accommodate the world of suggestion. We all know Dhvani, the theory of suggestion as expounded by Anandavardhana, is a multi-layered one. It will never stop, unlike the designated meaning, that is Abhida, and the implied meaning, that is Lakshana. Vyanjana Vyapara is suggested meaning, Vyanjanartha, or Dhvani Artha is the suggested meaning. It will continuously get enlarged, it will continuously swell and expand as per the imaginative power of the Sahridaya. That's so it is compared to a Pushpaka Vimana. We all know the unique capability of Pushpaka Vimana according to our mythological sources. It will have accommodation to infinite number of people. If n number of people sit there, it will have n plus n plus 1 seat. So one more space for yet another person, like that. That's how Dhvani will always be multiplying and it will go on continuously. That is the import of that. And then verses on various sciences, within the Shastras, as we call. One about the abysmal administration, Durniti of the politicians. Atavritta Chuta Sanskriti Rativa Purusha Chavarna Vinyasai Kukaverva Giva Tundrupa Nitir Mata Sandhi Vigraha Anarthaya. The verse is full of klesha, double entendre. It is a bad administration is compared to bad poetry. How it is possible only in language like Sanskrit? You just see, by using double meaning words in the right way, this task has been accomplished. Hatavritta. Hatavritta means Vritta has 2 meanings. One is character and the other one is meter. In bad administration, people lose character In bad poetry, meter will be wrong, meter will be faulty. And Chuta Sanskriti, in bad administration, culture will get eroded. In bad poetry, Vyakarana will not be taken care of. Words which violate rules of grammar are used. Chuta Sanskriti is that. And Apiva Purusha, bad administration, bad governance will be very harsh and unruly on people. And this bad poetry is also very harsh and jarring to hear. Varna Vinyasaihi. Varna means Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and such things, the social order. And Varna Vinyasa also means the employment of words, sounds, letters. This half of the verse is full of klesha. And Kukaver Vagiva Dundrupa Nitihi Matasandhi Vigraha Nartaya. Dundrupa Nitihi Nitir Nitira Mata Sandhi. Amata means it is not to be recommended. Sandhi Vigraha Nartaya. Sandhi Vigraha means treaty and war. A good governance should know how to get friends by good allying and how to tackle the enemies by fighting them properly in the war front. And that also means Sandhi and Vigraha. It is about the joining of the words, joining of the letters, and compounding of the words. In that way, the whole verse has double intent. That's why we have so many such verses. I can go on, but I'll stop here and invite your questions. Thank you. Your questions need not be restricted to today's deliberations. You can ask any aspect of Avadhana, whatever little know. I'll be very happy to give my own observations and my own observant answers as well. Thank you. Namaskar.